Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Dean, or as most of you know me, Twisty3, and today I wanted to let you guys know how to set up a Big Bash competition in Cricket 19, because a lot of you people have obviously been asking in the comment section, how do you set up a Big Bash competition like this one that you've got on the screen? I even got the Big Bash logo in the top left, which I didn't have throughout my season, but I'll tell you how to do all of that in today's video. First things first, you're going to want to get all the Big Bash teams because they don't actually come in the game individually. So what you need to do is you need to head to the Cricket Academy, head to the teams, and for me, I didn't actually use a specific username, but I basically searched all of the teams individually. So let's start by searching for the Melbourne Stars, and we'll go begin search. It'll download a few teams, and then I ended up picking one of these. I don't know which one I picked, but I picked one of them. So I went through and did that for every single team. So make sure you go ahead and download all the teams. You know, there's this. You probably your best bet is probably picking the most downloaded one. This one's got about 1,400 downloads, so you may as well go with that one. What I did do though is I did go into each team and I did check individually whether or not the roster was as up to date as it could be. What you can do though, if you are unsure, is you can actually click on the team you want to download if you want to just double check that it's got all the players you want in it. So you can load it up as this is loading now. Also, sometimes you will get stuck at this screen for a little bit of time. Not everything is super quick. If you do click the quick download option, that's probably your best bet. But if you do want to double check everything, it does take a bit of time to load from this screen. Alright, so that took about 30 seconds or so. Then what you can do is you can check the roster. We see this one's got Dwayne Bravo, which is a little bit outdated because he's not actually in the Big Bash for this year. And this side looks like it is a 2018-19 Big Bash side rather than a 2019-20. So let's not download that one. And you can go and through and pick whichever one you find ends up having the best teams available. Make sure when you are downloading these teams that you do include the logos with your search and when you download them as well, because otherwise you might get some issues. So make sure that is ticked. So now you've downloaded all your Big Bash teams. Hang on. So now let's imagine for a moment you've downloaded all of your Big Bash teams and they're now sitting in your custom pool. You go along to your Cricket Academy, your team creator, and you head, if you're in the international, you tab across and you're now in the custom pool with all of your custom teams. I've got 1 million teams because I've got 1 billion clones teams in here, but I do have Adelaide Strikers, Brisbane Heat, Hobart Hurricanes, Renegades, Stars, Scorchers, Sixers, and the Sydney Thunder. So I do have my 8 Big Bash teams. So now that we've got those, we can put them into a competition, but we actually have to make our own competition first. Now, this next step is a little bit of a bonus step if you really wanted to do it. But if you wanted to change sort of the stumps for your T20 competition, this is how you do it. Because by default, the sponsor is Vitality. So if we wanted to change it to like the Cricket Australia Network, this is what we do. And this is also how you change your stump sponsors when you've got test matches, if you wanted to make those Domain as the main sponsor. So you can do one of two things here. You can either edit the default one, or you can make a copy and change things around. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to make a copy. We're going to press square on this one. We're going to change the name of it to T20 BBL. Which you don't need to do, but this is just so we know that that's the match type we want. And then to change our stump sponsor, we go to the start times option, and here is where you can change the stump sponsor from Vitality Health, which it is by default, to whatever it is that you want. So because we don't have KFC as a stump sponsor option, so we're actually going to pick Gillette as our stump sponsor because they sponsor the 2020s in the international stuff for Australia, so they might have the best coloured stumps to go for 2020s. If you want to change the flash colour of the stumps as well, this is where you can do that. By default, it's on red. And so you want to go through and change your stump sponsor on all of the start times to whatever it is you want. So for me, that is Gillette. Now you don't need to change any of the other settings in the match type designer, so you can leave them all the same if you just wanted to change the default one, or if you just wanted to change your copied version, you don't need to change any of the other options. And then when you leave, you want to make sure you save the match type. So now that we've got that and we've got our 2020 match designed, we can design our competition. And this again, this is a required step. That other step was a bit of a bonus step. But here I'm going to go into the competition I've created. So if you go new competition, this is sort of the settings that I ended up creating. You want to go into your name, change that to whatever it is you want to call it. Easiest things to call it BBL09. You want to make sure the structure is a league structure. And this is where it gets important. If you change the default 2020, you want it to be the 2020 match type. But if you changed it with a copy, we're going to change our match type to T20 BBL, which we've got right here. So then we've got our match type as T20 BBL. That will make sure that our stump sponsors have changed to the Gillette stump sponsor. And then here is where you get your logo. So here as well, if you made sure you downloaded those logos with the teams, you're probably wondering, how do you get that Big Bash logo? It's not in any of these sections. It's not in here because these are all the default logos. See down in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, it's got View Custom Logos. Also, there's all the official Australian ones down the bottom there for their other formats. But what you want to do is you want to view your custom logos by pressing L1 or R1, and it will take you to your custom logos. Now, you've probably got a billion of these to sift through, but if I scroll down a little bit of time, we'll go through and we'll see all of the other logos from the kits of the other teams, and eventually we will find our Big Bash teams, and there should be a Big Bash logo on one of them. So here we go, we found the Melbourne Stars. There is the Big Bash logo right there. We can use that. We can use the KFC logo. We can use pretty much whatever logo we want here from our custom logos. There's even a Fox Cricket one I see there. But what you're going to do, I'm going to use this Big Bash logo one. You want to make sure there's 8 teams. You want it to have 2 round robins because, of course, everyone in the Big Bash plays each other twice. And here I'm going to say you don't want it to have finals, and I'll tell you why in a little bit of time. If you just wanted to have your finals inside your league, you can say, yes, I want it to have finals, and then your final teams, you can have 4 there as well if you wanted to do it like that. But because the Big Bash has 5 teams in the finals this year, we're going to do it a little bit differently. And then you can pick your trophy of choice. I don't think you actually win it in this competition because there's no finals, but pick your trophy of choice if you'd like. The next thing, your competition points system. Make sure 2 for a win, and 1 for a draw or a tie, and then you can go ahead and click save down at the bottom of this screen. Then as a bonus one, if you wanted to do this, you can make a final for your BBL finals, make a new competition with just the 2 teams in it, and then again you can pick your trophy of choice. Make sure you got the Big Bash logo there, and your match type is your BBL T20. And you can do that if you wanted to do that, and I'll explain a little bit why later if you want to do that. So now we've got our competitions, we've got our teams. It's time to put them all together into a Big Bash competition. So let's head into the competition mode here in Cricket 19. We want to go across to Custom Men's, not New Competition. And we want to find, we're going to go all the way to the bottom, and we're going to find our BBL 09 competition. And this is where you add in all of your downloaded teams. You press Add Team, you go across to your Custom tab, you add in the Adelaide Strikers, the Brisbane Heat, the Hobart Hurricanes. You add every team in here until you've got all 8 Big Bash sides. It also doesn't matter which order you add these teams in because you're going to play everyone twice, and the fixture is not going to match up to the real world anyway. So it doesn't matter what order you put. Then you hit OK, and you make a new competition. And then you have your Big Bash competition here in Cricket 19. You can play through as many games as you want. You can simulate them all if you really wanted to determine who you think's going to win. You can have a look at the league standings here. You can also have a look at who the leading wicket takers were and who the leading run scorers were for the competition. And then you can do whatever you want. Here's where the difficult part is, because we have a new system for the finals in the Big Bash. So because there's 5 teams and we can't set up a 5-team competition, you're going to have to set these all up individually in the play now mode of the game. So because we've got 1st to 5th qualifying for the finals, it would be the Heat versus the Renegades, the Hurricanes versus the Scorchers, and the Sixers would then have a bye for that first week. Then the Sixers would play the winner of the Hurricanes and the Scorchers. The winner of that game would then play the loser of the Heat versus the Renegades, and then the winner would eventually play off in the final. So when you're finished, go to this BBL final page, and you add in your 2 finals teams. So I think it was Brisbane Heat and maybe the Sydney Thunder were the top 2. For some reason, there's 6 logos there, but we only need to pick 2 before we hit continue. And then you've got your Big Bash final. You'll have your Big Bash logos everywhere. You'll have the correct stumps and everything like that. And you can then play through your game as the Brisbane Heat taking on the Sydney Thunder. And that way, you'll have your trophy presentation at the end, and everything like that will be all nice and smooth for you. So anyway, that is how you set up a Big Bash competition in Cricket 19. I hope this video was helpful for you all, and that you were able to create your own Big Bash in Cricket 19 and play along with it, because of course there's cricket every single day, I think, until the end of January, except Christmas Day, for the Big Bash, because there's a lot of games and they're like jumping through it all the time. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and it helped you out. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Goodbye.